You wanna know who I am? Folks call me the Bone Man, ain't my real name, but it's the one that stuck. Now most ghost stories are about fear. Something cold in the hallway, something wrong in the walls, something that wants you gone. But every now and then, a haunting meets its match, and the something that wants you gone just has to sit down and watch. The Dixie Cups recorded Chapel of Love in 1964. Three young women from New Orleans singing the most relentlessly cheerful wedding song ever committed to vinyl. It hit #1 and stayed there. Knocked the Beatles off the top of the charts. Which ought to tell you something about the power of a song that purely, stubbornly refuses to let anything go wrong. Tonight on Requiem Radio, we go to Auburn, Alabama, to a chapel with a ghost in it, and a wedding that ghost never stood a chance against. This one's called The Haunted Chapel of Love. Sidney Grimlett had been haunting the Auburn University Chapel since 1863, and he was very good at it. He had not chosen the work so much as fallen into it, stayed in it, which amounted to the same thing. One day he was a private from Talladega County with a Miney ball in his lung, and the next he was a permanent resident of a building that kept changing its purpose while he stayed exactly the same. Through all of it, Sidney persisted and haunted and maintained what he considered a well-deserved reputation as the most reliably unpleasant presence on the Auburn University campus, which, given the size of the faculty, was genuinely competitive. His methods were elegant cold spots, flickering lights, the footstep in the empty balcony, the breath behind the left ear at the exact moment a visitor convinced themselves they were being ridiculous. He had a window latch move he was honestly a little proud of, a sharp rattle at the frequency that made the human spine do something involuntary and undignified, a professional in every sense. The weddings were his masterpiece, 17 parties cleared in 130 years, his signature. Wait for the held breath before the vows. Drop the temperature so fast, the flower arrangements visibly wilted. Never once failed to clear the building before the cake was cut. So when a wedding party arrived on a Saturday in May of 1993, Sidney cracked his knuckles. Metaphorically, he had no knuckles and prepared to go to work. Cold spot ready, window latches primed. He was reviewing his set list when the doors opened, and he thought, with the instinct of a man who survived one war before dying in another, that something was already wrong. The groom was wearing a white tuxedo jacket. In 130 years of weddings, Sidney's view on a white tuxedo jacket was that it represented a level of confidence a haunting was going to have a hard time denting. The man was red-haired and was walking the bride down the aisle himself. No father, no handoff, just the two of them arriving together like they'd reached a unanimous decision and were simply informing the room. The bride had serious eyes, the kind that wasn't unfriendly, just certain. Someone who had considered all available information, reached a conclusion, and wasn't interested in reopening the question. They reached the altar. The entire wedding party turned around, pivoting to face the congregation, so everyone could see the two people at the center, rather than the backs of their heads. Sidney found himself in the deeply unfamiliar position of thinking they were not wrong. He tried the cold spot. Nobody noticed. Fine, he thought, we do this the hard way. He went for the window latch, and that was when the music started. He would think about this moment for 33 years and never fully explain what the Dixie Cups did to him. It wasn't that the song was loud. It was so completely, aggressively, unreasonably happy that it altered the atmospheric conditions of the room. In a way, his entire toolkit was not designed for you. Cannot make a room feel colder than the Dixie Cups can make it feel warm. It is a question of competing technologies, and Sidney's was older. He tried anyway. He rattled the latch. The groom didn't flinch. He dropped the temperature 3 degrees. The bride didn't blink. He produced the footstep in the balcony, his most reliable piece. And a woman in the fourth pew glanced up and went back to smiling, apparently deciding the footstep in an empty balcony was not gonna ruin her Saturday. Nobody was crying. Crying was useful. It made the atmosphere porous. But this crowd was simply happy in a unanimous, uncomplicated way that left him nothing to work with. Sidney sat down in the back pew. He had not sat down during a wedding since before the turn of the century. He watched the red-headed man say his vows like a man making a statement rather than a request. He watched the serious-eyed woman say hers back with the calm of someone who had written them herself and meant every clause. He watched them kiss while the room erupted in exactly the kind of noise Sidney had spent a century and a half trying to prevent, then found, to his considerable annoyance, that he did not mind it. Back to full operational capacity by Tuesday. But every May, right around the same time, something happens in that chapel. The tour guides cannot explain. The cold spots warm. The latches stay still. Play that song in his chapel on that day, and Sidney Grimlett has absolutely nothing for you. He used it all up in 1993 and is never restocked. Somewhere in the back, where the May light comes in at a certain angle, there is an old soldier who got beaten by the happiest song ever recorded, and a man in a white tuxedo jacket and a woman with serious eyes who knew exactly what she was doing. He would never admit it, but he shows up every year. That ought to tell you something.
You've been listening to Requiem Radio, where music bleeds into the supernatural. And that was the Haunted Chapel of Love. Now Sidney Grimlett is still there, still rattling latches, still running off tour groups, still very much a professional. But the last Saturday of every May, he takes the day off. And if that ain't a love story, I don't know what is. Ain't gonna be no more tonight. Y'all rest easy, and don't let the dark drive you home.